This clip is going to take a look at the various mechanics for moving units in Air and Armor. We begin with the basic idea that the type of operation a unit is participating in determines the number of movement points it receives when it moves. As in most wargames, units expend movement points to enter each hex along their path of travel. The map provides a terrain key that identifies each type of terrain that is found on the map, and the Charts and Tables booklet contains a terrain effects chart that shows the number of movement points that a unit must expend to enter a hex or cross a specific type of hex site. Fundamentally, these are easy to review for yourself, so I won't waste your time describing them. I do, however, want to give some examples of movement and discuss a number of nuances. Let's begin with the distinction between road movement and tactical movement. Road movement occurs when both of two conditions apply. The first condition is that the unit is connected to the adjacent hex that it wishes to enter by a road that travels between the two hexes, and when the operation the unit is conducting permits road movement. Unless both of these two conditions apply, the movement will be tactical movement. In addition, even when both of those two conditions do apply, a unit still cannot use road movement to enter a hex that is adjacent to an enemy unit, nor can it use road movement to exit a hex that is adjacent to an enemy unit, so it would have to use tactical movement to move here, as an example. Road movement is covered in another clip, so let's look at the options for tactical movement. And in this case, let's assume that this unit here is executing a hasty attack operation and therefore has 6 movement points. But hasty attack does not allow a unit to use road movement at all unless you are the Warsaw Pact conducting an attack from March, a special capability we will cover in another clip. So we have a unit here that has 6 movement points. Let's assume that it wishes to move in this direction. How far can it get? Well, it will have to spend 3 movement points to enter this heavy woods hex, a 4th movement point to enter the light woods hex, and there it stops, because if it wishes to enter this hex or this hex or this hex or even this hex, it would have to spend another 3 movement points. It's already spent 4. To enter any of these hexes would take it to 7, but it only has 6 movement points. So that's as far as that unit gets. Back to home base. Let's say that it wants to move in this direction. How far can it get? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's done. Let's take a look at moving in this direction. The unit can go 1. To enter this next hex, it is paying 1 movement point for the clear terrain, but it must spend an extra movement point to go upslope. So it spent 1 so far. This is 2, 3 to go upslope, but it can then go into this hex moving downslope for no extra hex site cost. So this would take it to 4, 5, and 6. Now, if it wanted to go completely straight in this direction, it would go 1, 2, 3, and if this was normally a clear hex, it could go 4, 5, 6. Moving downslope across this slope hex side doesn't cost it an extra movement point, but the minor river costs +2. So it would have moved 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the hex side, the minor river, 6 for the clear terrain. However, this is not clear terrain, it's polder, and the rules state that a unit cannot enter a polder hex except across a road, even if it's not using road movement. So what this unit could do is it could go 1, 2, 3, 1 for the town, +2 for the minor river hex site, 4, 5, 6, and that would be totally legal because it had entered this polder hex along a road. That's not road movement, that's tactical movement, but the road enables that movement to be possible. Let's look at moving in this direction. So it would be +1 for this bridge here. So this unit would spend 1 movement point for the Lightwoods, one movement point for the bridge because it's moving in tactical mode. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. However, this unit could not go 1, 2, 3, 4 and enter here because there's no bridge. So it would have to spend the full 5, 6 for this hex side, 7 for the hex itself, which is movement that it doesn't have. And let's say that it wants to move south. It could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that explores the full range of options for tactical movement, with the exception that a unit can only enter a rough hex if it is entering along a hex side that is touched by a trail. So if this unit were to start here, it could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then it would have to stop. When it wished to continue movement in the following turn, the only hexes that it could enter would be to backtrack here or to go here, because these are the only two hexes that are connected by this trail. The final item we need to cover is a movement function termed minimum movement. Let's just say that this unit started here in Philippsthal and that it is conducting an assault operation. Per the operation summary chart, it has only 3 movement points when conducting an assault. If the native player wanted this unit to enter this hex here, then it would have to pay 2 movement points for the minor river hex side, plus 3 movement points for the rough hex, for a grand total of 5 movement points. This would be impossible because it only has 3 movement points. However, the minimum movement rule states that any unit can move at least 1 hex when it moves, even when it lacks the movement points to enter that hex, provided that it is not crossing an unbridged major river hex side or an impassable slope, 2 hex sides that are normally blocked. So this movement into this hex is possible for this unit using minimum movement. And this concludes our clip on tactical movement.